If you would not mind, to the lightning round. This is, and I'm sure you know how this works, I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and then subsequently you will answer just yes or no, okay?
Okay.
Are you ready? Here we go.
Yes, I am.
Have you ever been arrested?
No.
Do you believe that global warming exists?
No.
Do you support the death penalty?
Yes.
Will you endorse Rick Lazio and drop your independent line if he wins the primary?
No.
If elected, will you avail yourself of the perks of the office of governor, living in the mansion and using the taxpayer-funded air fleet?
I don't have to live. I can live in a hotel room. If we can sell the mansion, I'd be happy to sell it.
So no?
Using the, well, for expediency in getting places, because you've got one flight back and forth to Buffalo a day, one direct flight. Yes, I will continue to use the state plane to fly around New York State to get to different events. I'll do that, yes.
So to be clear, you would maintain your permanent residence in Buffalo?
It's where my family is, yes.
Okay. Do you own guns and use them regularly?
I own guns. I don't use them regularly, no.
Did you ever vote for George Pataki?
Yes, I did.
Do you think Sarah Palin would make a good president?
No.
Do you believe President Obama when he says he's a practicing Christian?
No.
Have you ever been sued?
In business, yes.
Have you ever used illegal drugs?
No.
Do you believe Social Security and Medicaid should continue to exist?
Yes.
Let me just follow up with one of those questions on you. You do not believe that the president is a practicing Christian?
No.
Why not?
Not in his heart.
Why not?
I think it's part of the theater of Mr. Obama. I'm not saying that he's anything else, but I think Mr. Obama is about himself. I think his any religious beliefs that he advocates, I think, is just part of the theater to make himself look better to the American people.
So you're not specifically saying that he is not a Christian. You just don't believe him when he says that he's a practicing
I don't believe
Christian.
No, I think he worships himself.
Okay.
He's a very condescending person.
So we have two more questions in closing. If Rick Lazio were here tonight and had agreed to debate you, what would you ask him?
I'd ask him to explain how capping taxes, capping spending, will in any way solve the plight of the people of the state of New York. How do we create jobs, Rick? You're capping this and capping that does not create jobs. It's only when we cut spending, cut taxes, cut this debilitating regulations and rules that we expand jobs. And jobs is what we're about. That's the responsibility of this leadership. In the future, we have to work on jobs for every strata of our society, skilled and unskilled, and it has to be fair. And we have to stop subsidizing selectively companies to come in from out of state and compete with our existing tax-paying companies in this state. That will stop. But Rick, you haven't talked about it. You don't seem to want to address it. You don't seem to really have a plan that's grounded anywhere. And I think that's probably why you're not out here talking to us today.
Just to be
clear, I would cajole you to please sit down and try to figure out what you're up to.
Just to be clear, you do not support property tax caps or spending caps?
Oh, I would support caps on the way to cutting. But my energy will be directed at cutting taxes and cutting spending, not capping them. Caps were made to find exceptions. Okay, putting a cap on is like saying, well, I'm never going to put my hand on the hot stove again. Well, for God's sakes, you might choose to do it one of these days. Who knows? And you'll find exceptions to the rule in some way. It's just not capping anything is setting a rule for yourself instead of setting a good direction. Set a direction that it's your intent to cut taxes. I will say unequivocally right now, we will never, under a Paladino administration, raise taxes. I will cut taxes every year during my administration.
And just in closing, can you say at least one thing that you think is positive about Mr. Lazio and Mr. Cuomo?
Oh, I think Rick actually is a nice guy. I think he's he's a family man. I think he's really a nice man. It's just that his role in life seems to have been relegated to being sitting on the bench, and the Republicans call him up whenever they've got a very strong Democrat that they want to run against. And he comes running up, and he doesn't really understand the responsibility, but he's ready to go. As for Mr. Cuomo, I'm sorry, I can't. There's nothing I could say redeeming about him.
Not one single thing?
No. I don't know of anything.
Okay. In closing, before we let you go, if you would like to make any final remarks, this would be your opportunity to do so.
Thank you. I am me. I don't need money. I don't need power. I don't need a pat on the back. I don't need any kind of praise. I just need the people. And the people I know have been disappointed in the past by elected officials. You voted for people you trusted. I say this to you, I'm going there for one reason, and that is to straighten this mess out. I have no other agenda. After 4 years, I'll go out and I'll get myself a hobby and probably look back on those 4 years as being a hell of a great experience for me. I'm very capable of doing this. I understand the law. I understand people. I've spent my entire career managing a company from scratch into a very, very successful company today. I know I can do the job. I have to get the message out, and I ask the people to please get out there on September 14th. Call your relatives, call your friends, call your children, call everybody who's a registered Republican, and ask them to get out there and vote. Call them now, and then call them again just beforehand, and ask them to develop a list of people to call.
Okay.
That's the only way we're going to take our state back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carl. I appreciate your time.